Jim from Advanced Performance Shooting again, and I wanted to do, I felt obligated to do a video way different than we would normally do. Normally I'd be out on the range and have my hearing protection on, have glasses on, shooting a drill, trying to encourage people to get out to the range, trying to encourage people to push themselves harder in training, get out and do things that you might not have tried before. But I saw a post, I think originally put up on the 11th of January, and I really thought that absolutely needed to be addressed. In that original post, the post said, anyone still using the color codes to talk about individual situational awareness is individually unaware that they are oversimplifying things to the point of getting it wrong for any practical purpose. Just that first opening comment, I'm like, holy shit, for real? And I hate to even be that way, but holy cow, what a big, bold step to take. Hey, dude, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're wasting people's time. If you reference the color-coded levels of awareness, you're ignorant. The quote goes on to say that the color codes are an outdated approach, given what we know about human sensory perception and information processing. I'm sure Colonel Cooper did not develop the color-coded levels of awareness in a vacuum. Friends, students, other instructors, military buddies, life experiences. I'm sure that he thought about what he was trying to tell people as he used, and maybe not even the original guy too, but as he used different colors to code different levels of awareness. But we're going to come right straight out and say that he didn't know anything about sensory perception or information processing or human. Holy cow. Really? I get it. A lot of it is just to sell a new gun or a new version of a gun. A lot of it's to draw attention to a book. A lot of it purposefully to alienate the firearms training industry. And we've already got troubles without extra alienation. I'm not a crazy educated guy. My life experiences, somewhere along the way, somebody told me that Shakespeare in Romeo and Juliet had a line that said, a rose by any other name would smell just as sweet, or a version thereof. And it speaks directly to the power of, or the lack of power in a name. Doesn't matter what we call it. One nationally recognized organizing body for firearms instructor talks about low, medium, and high risk. Another nationally recognized organizing body for firearms instruction uses the color-coded levels of awareness to draw attention to different levels of situational awareness, not just as they relate to spatial awareness or our surroundings or situational awareness as a whole. The truth is, there are lots of people that are out teaching and they're underqualified for what they're trying to teach. Doesn't matter what they use for a reference. If they use it incorrectly, it makes no point. It doesn't do anything. It does a disservice inside of the training community. It goes on to say in the original post, at this point, however, it takes almost willful ignorance to still be using the antiquated approach. This month marks a decade since, and it goes on. It's a sales pitch. I get it. I understand that some people's way of marketing thing is to say, hey, that product sucks, buy mine. It goes on to use an example taken not from the self-defense training industry, not from the firearms training industry, but motorcycle racing. And it's a great example of when we look at Keith Code's references to how we might spend our money, rather, as it relates to situational awareness. But for some people, with a lack of understanding what that motorcycle racer was trying to say with regards to all the things that go on around me, and I only have $10 to spend, what do I put here, what do I put there, what do I put there? The key point he tried to bring out is things shift. The color-coded levels of awareness are not set in stone. It's not just white or just yellow, or just orange, or red, or black. If you're teaching a model that uses that as an extension to the original concept, but it has to be taught correctly. If we use low, medium, and high, we're not only in low or only in medium. It's kind of like there are a lot of people that cannot teach the concept of run, hide, and fight correctly. They think you either run or you hide or you fight, that they're not interchangeable, that they don't shift, that they don't maybe I do one and then the other, or they might be in a different sequence. But to come right out and say that anybody using the example of the color-coded levels of awareness is ignorant, is stupid, outdated, and hurting your students, that's what a terrible thing to say inside of the firearms industry. The original statement goes on to say that the reason that some people are teaching the wrong thing, and I got it, there are people that are absolutely underqualified to teach what they're teaching. They don't understand what they're teaching, but it goes on to say that some of the reason is tribal, and I get that. I see that we see that all over the firearms industry. Somebody says, hey, this technique is intuitive and everything else sucks. And just because my hero says this, that's what I have to do. Some of it's actual complacency. They jump out. You go take a 2-day course and now all of a sudden you're an instructor. And they don't bother to learn anymore. They're not bothering to share the most correct information. They're just throwing information out, maybe just using big words to sound smarter than everybody else. Maybe they're coming straight out and saying, man, you're stupid if you do that. Holy cow. And some of it's actually ignorance. Some of it, they have no clue what they're talking about. I got it. They get no clue. There's a lot of that goes on inside the firearms industry for sure. But to say that Colonel Cooper, whenever he developed the color-coded levels of awareness, to say that our situational awareness, spatial awareness, the importance of paying attention to our surroundings, if that's the context that we're using it in, that it was different then than it is now, there's absolutely more distractions now. But to come right out and say that model's dumb, hey, buy my model, do my thing, because if you don't,